So to talk a little bit about some typical problems with this car, it's not so many. I think a lot of people are afraid both of problems with these cars as well as the maintenance cost, but it's really not that bad, at least it's not in my experience and ownership. So one of the typical one is the thermocouple and the ECUs. Actually now Lamborghini has put them into their regular maintenance plan. I think after 5 years they recommend to change them. It's a job that costs about $3,000, and basically the ECUs located in the rear wheel arches on both sides, as well as the thermocouples, two on each side. They are basically being toasted, and you were getting an alarm on the dashboard. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was the check engine light. And I know a lot of people are saying the car is going into a limp mode when that happens as well. It's pretty annoying, but it's not a big deal really when you know about it. Another problem that I've heard a lot of people have, it's related to heat, and obviously it gets very warm back here, and there is a lot of electronics back in around the engine. And if you look at the newer model, both the SV and the S, you can see that they have improved the airflow for the engine. They have some fixed air vents. They have also taken off some of the engine panels, and they even sell like a racing radiator for the Aventador to improve the cooling. Yeah, but besides that, I have not had any big problems with my car. So with that said, let's have a look at the scheduled maintenance plan as recommended from Lamborghini. So basically I have scanned the 5 pages, and I'll go through them page by page. And as you can see here, it's basically a yearly service or per miles. For most of us it will be a yearly service, as we won't reach that many miles. You can see here the different items: air filter, cooling system, check clutch for wear. As it often is, you have an I for inspection, R for replace, and you can see here engine oil and oil filter to be replaced on a yearly basis. Spark plugs is actually every 2nd year. As you can see, the first is on the 2nd year of ownership, and then it's 4th year, 6th year. So it's quite frequent. Checking for clutch wear, that's just computer, and here you can see also a lot of check systems. Here air filter, also the same as with the spark plugs, every 2 years to change the air filter. So let's continue on. Here is page 2, and yeah, you can see here also there's quite a few things to be replaced. They have the oxygen sensors at year 7, charcoal filters at the 5th year and 9th year, dust filter in air condition every 2 years, gearbox oil every 2 years to replace, and also the oil in the front and rear differential to replace every 2 years. Gearbox oil filter just to inspect. The same with the oil in the electronic coupling. It's well, it's actually to be replaced in year 4 and 6. Then we continue. Here is the 3rd page, and here you can see it's primarily inspection items. You have here one to be replaced. It's the pyrotechnic bolt on the doors in year 8, and you have the control unit for emergency door opening system after 10 years. The rest is it's only to inspect. here is page 4. Also a lot of things to inspect, to replace brake fluid. Again, that's also every 2 years. The rest is to inspect. And the last page here, it's also only inspection and a road test. So that's quickly going through the recommended maintenance from Lamborghini. And then I put up here my actual cost of ownership in 3.5 years. So you can see here, I'll try to zoom in a little bit. So my first service was November 2018, almost $1,200. It was just the engine oil and filter inspection. But then in 2019 I did the bigger service requiring spark plugs, air filter, gearbox oil, the oil in the front and rear differential, brake fluids, and that came to $4,500. Annual service again November 2020, $1,084 for the engine oil filter and inspection. So you can see here, these are actually the actual service items I did. So it's not that bad for this type of car, but you can see here this is basically the every 2 year service, about $4,500, while the oil filter and inspection is only around $1,000 to $1,200 typically. Now then you can see here service cost problems. So I did have a few problems. I had to replace the thermocouples and the ECUs, almost $3,000 including labor. This is actually an item that Lamborghini now have included in the I believe it's in the 5th year of service, because they see that these are toasted basically after 5 years or after 6 years. That's why they changed it on the 5th year. I also had to change the charcoal canister and the purge valves. This was a recommendation from Lamborghini. To be honest, I'm not sure if it was really necessary, but I did it. I also did change the battery. There was some error message coming from that side. It's $1,500. Some other service cost, obviously you need tires. It's not cheap, $800 for the front, almost $2,000 for the rear. So going further down here, yeah, my ownership was basically 3.5 years, $15,000 in service cost. Insurance, I pay about $3,000 a year, which I think is kind of normal for this type of car. Cost per year, $7,400. Depreciation per year, I had almost $6,000. So my cost per month of ownership, almost $1,100. Now there is a few add-ons, I'll say that, but these are maybe not that necessary, but I think for most of us we will be buying a few extra things for our cars, so I put them in here. I did buy the battery tender, $170. I did the carbon fiber X bar in the engine compartment, was $3,500. Yeah, window tint, clear bra, $4,500. So I did additional items for a bit over $9,000. So that's basically it. So I hope this can give a good overview for people considering to buy this car. And I think a lot of people are afraid of the maintenance. But as you can see here, it's really not that bad, though this every 2 year service can be quite expensive. Some people arguing the spark plugs and a lot of these items that maybe not required if you're not driving that much, but if you want to make sure everything is up to speed, you want to do all these services. I would say that for sure all the oils, front and rear differential oils, brake fluid, gearbox oil, I think these do them at least. The spark plugs, yeah, I guess you can argue that maybe not necessary every 2 years if you're not using the car that much, but that's kind of individual. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this overview. Feel free to ask me any questions. I also have the workshop manual for the car, so I can also show other items if any questions. Yeah, I thought share also, I did a clutch reading last time I did my service over with the dealership, and I thought also just share this screenshot. And you can see here how they can read the clutch wear. As you can see, mine is at 0.8 millimeter. And if I'm not mistaken, they said that when you're getting close to 4, then you need to replace. My car was at 10,000 miles when I had this reading. So obviously I had a lot more to go on my clutch before it would need to be changed. With regards to the oil change, I thought share the procedure from the workshop manual. I think this can be pretty useful for everyone that would like to do it yourself, because it's not really that hard. Basically, you have to remove the under tray and then locate the plugs. And as you can see here, there are 4 drain plugs under the engine. So basically you need to obviously open all of those, drain all the oil and replace the filter. And then there is a procedure here for how much oil you will fill into the reservoir before you start it, and then you fill it, you top it up basically. Yeah, thought share also a few more maintenance procedures. This one goes for checking the oil level in the gearbox. So this also, you have to take off the under tray to get access, and preferably you would need a lift. But it's not that difficult really. There's just one bolt you need to remove to check the oil level. Another service item is to check and replace the oil in the front and rear differentials. This also, you need to remove the under tray to get access, obviously. This goes for the Haldex system. Now to talk a bit about some problems. I really haven't had a lot of problems with my car, but one thing that happened, I did get the check engine light for the thermocouples. And this is a very common problem with the Aventador. And actually Lamborghini, they have included changing the thermocouples and the ECUs I think at 5 years, because they see so many cars coming in around 5-6 years with this problem. And I had the work done at an exotic car workshops, and it came to about $3,000 in total. And basically it's quite a lot of work, not exactly anything for do-it-yourself type, but you basically have to take off the rear wheels and the wheel arches, and also in the engine you have to take off the engine panels. You have to take off the under tray, and you can see here where the thermocouples are located, and it can be quite difficult to reach these thermocouples, so it takes quite some time. And yeah, this is just showing the connection to the ECUs. The ECUs are located in the wheel arch, and I think that's what a lot of people are saying also. It's the reason why they go south is because it gets extremely warm in the engine bay, obviously. So this is actually I printed out this one. It's a catalyst sensor update from Lamborghini, but I think it's pretty useful. You can see from the drawings, you can see here actually where the thermocouples are going in the wheel arches. Yeah, this is the ECU